Yes, alright. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are going to start with IELTS reading test. Now, please tell me how many of you are gender training IELTS candidates? Gender training IELTS candidates, in your reading, third passage is going to be like this. And third passage is the toughest one. We are going to solve one academic reading test. And the difference between academic and gender training reading is only the passages. Questions are same, absolutely same, only passages are different. But section 3 of gender training reading and academic reading, they are exactly same. There is a long passage there. So we are going to solve 3 long passages. Those who are gender and gender training candidates, they have issues with their passage 3. Passage 1 and passage 2, they are simple. Like first 26 to 27 questions are very simple. Right? Only third passage is difficult. So now just imagine you are going to solve 3 third passages of your gender training reading. So it's going to be quite useful, one thing. Second, I'll tell you about that as well. Now, whenever you start your IELTS reading, first of all, you need to read the title of the passage. And the title is Development of London Underground Railway. Have you noticed one thing? I'm not reading article the, and in listening and in reading. Save your time, do not read article. In every sentence, there are at least 1 or 2 articles. So if you make up your mind that I'm not going to read the articles, and, the, some, any, so you can save your time. Now, in London, they have underground railway, so development of that. So it means this passage will tell us all about London Underground Railway. After that, we will come to questions. Questions 1 to 6, complete the notes below, choose one word only. Now, listen and remember, there are 2 types of questions. One is type A. Type A means questions and their answers are in order in the passage. Second is type B. Type B means you have to scan all the passage to find those answers. Type B questions are only 2. One is which paragraph contains the following information, and second is list of headings. Right? So in list of headings also, questions and the passage, they are not in order. I mean, the headings are not in order. So you need to just find them, right? Otherwise, most of the questions, like 80 to 90% questions, are type A. How to do reading? You read the question. From the question, you find a clue. You look for the clue in the passage, and your first target is to reach the paragraph where there is the answer. After reaching the paragraph, your next target is to reach those sentences. And remember, if there are 40 questions, you just have to read 40 sentences to answer. If I do one thing, if I give you 40 questions with one sentence that contains the answer, believe me, you can finish your IELTS reading in 20-30 minutes. Got my point? Right? The difficult thing is to locate the right paragraph and to locate the right information and all that. But anyways, we are going to do it. Now, please come to this one word only. London Underground Railway, the problem. You can see the questions are labeled. Number 1, the problem. Number 2, proposed solution. Number 3, construction. So problem. Dash of London increased rapidly between 1800 and 1850. Now, please look for 1800 and 1850. And see what increased in London. First paragraph, and you can find it there. In the first half of 1800, now look at me. What do they mean by first half of 1800? From 1800 to 1850, exactly. That is what they mean by first half. London's population grew. Now what is grew? Yeah, grew means increased. So what is the answer? Population. Very simple. Got it? It's a good start. Then they talk about streets. There is no question. Next is proposed solution, Charles Pearson. That is our clue word, and then there is that railway. Okay? Now, building the railway would make it possible to move people to better housing in the. Now look at me. Better housing in the. Now, what is the location of better housing? That location will be your answer. And what is the clue word? Clue word is Charles Pearson and railway. So please come back. Well done. Second paragraph, we've got the word Charles Pearson. Yeah, in the beginning we have Charles Pearson and then there is railway. Please come to fourth line after full stop. His idea. His means Charles Pearson. Found it? And please keep an eye on your neighbor also. Keep an eye on your neighbor if he or she is on the right paragraph, right line and all that. Second paragraph, fourth line after full stop. His idea was to relocate poor workers who lived in inner city slums to newly constructed suburbs. So where to relocate them? Newly constructed suburbs. Now look at me. It's one word only. And they have given us three words. Newly constructed suburbs. Out of these three words, two words are adjectives and one word is noun. Tell me what's the noun? Suburb is the noun. Newly is adjective. Constructed is adjective. And correct answer for question number 2 is suburbs. Okay, for newly constructed, they use the word better. Better means newly constructed. A number of, I told you this before, if you remember, whenever they use the word number of, answer will be plural. And in the passage, they may use the number like 1000, 2000, 500 and all that. A number of dash agreed with Pearson's idea. Same paragraph. Look for the synonym of number of. And answer is plural. I'm reading it after suburbs. Found it? After suburbs. And to provide cheap rail travel for them to get to work. Pearson's idea gained support among some businessmen. Now businessmen is singular or plural? Plural. And they use the word some. Some means number of. Now number of and some, they are synonyms. And what is the right answer? Businessmen. Very good. You need to understand these things. Businessmen, like number of and some. And sometimes for number of, they can also use 500 businessmen, 1000 businessmen. So that is also number of. Okay, now we go on. The company, question number 4. The company initially had problems getting the dash needed for the project. Yeah, getting money needed for the project and all that. So please come to company, organization. Look for the word organization, company, difficulty, problem. Yes, third paragraph, fourth line after 5 kilometers. Found it? Third paragraph, fourth line after 5 kilometers. The organization had difficulty in raising the funding. So what is the question? Question is had problem getting. For getting they use the word raising. For problems they use the word difficulty. Difficulty. And answer is funding. Okay. Every time you find the right answer, you see what are the synonyms that they have used. And they tend to repeat these synonyms in other tests as well. No, listen. When you use the word the, after the you need to use funding. Getting the funding. Okay. And they have used the word funding. In reading, you are not supposed to change the word. Whatever is written in the passage, if they write here raising the funds, you will write funds. Raising the funding, you will write funding. Okay? Okay. All right. Funding is basically the process with which you raise the funds. And fund is that amount that you get. Okay? Negative articles about the project appeared in the, for example, newspaper. Negative articles. Look for the word articles, newspapers, and all that. I'm reading it after funding. Found it? After funding. For such a radical and expensive scheme, not least because of the critical articles printed by the press. So articles printed by the press means articles appeared in the press. Now appeared in and printed by, they are synonyms. Correct answer is press. Now you see construction and there are 2 bullet points. It means you have to leave some lines and then you will come ahead. So with the completion of the brick arch. Now brick arch is your clue word. The tunnel is also your clue word. With the completion of the brick arch, the tunnel was covered with dash. Now tunnel was covered with something. So please look for the word brick arch, tunnel. Second page, first paragraph. Yes, second last line, rather third last line. We read it from the full stop, okay? Brick walls were then constructed. Found it? Okay. So clue word is very important. One thing, if you want to finish your IELTS reading in time, then you need to find a clue word. And if you don't know or don't find clue word, then you have to read everything. And that will take a lot of time. Brick walls were then constructed and finally a brick arch was added. Now what do we have to find? We have to see the tunnel was covered with dash, right? Arch was added to create a tunnel. A 2-meter layer of soil was laid on top of the tunnel. Now, tunnel was covered with soil. For that they used 2-meter deep layer of soil was laid on top of the tunnel. So answer is soil. Soil is matti. Okay, now we are doing questions 7 to 13 and the question type is true, false, not given. Usually the answers to questions 1 to 7, they come in first 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. Sometimes you will find all 3 answers in 1 paragraph. Otherwise, you may find answers in 1, 2, 3 paragraphs, okay? And then we've got more questions. So the location of answers, that is different for each question. Now, for example, we have touched paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Now we are going to touch the next paragraphs for the next type of questions. But this is not true all the time. Maybe for question number 1, you find all the answers in second last paragraph. And then for true, false, not given, you find the answers in first paragraph. But once you find one answer, and if it is true, false, or sentence completion, answers will come in a sequence. Yes. So, question number 7, other countries had built underground. Now, this is very important. Questions are technical. You need to understand. Other countries had built underground railway before metropolitan line opened. Look at me. If other countries had built their underground railway before they opened metropolitan line, answer is true. And if it was the first in the world means nobody has completed that, nobody had done that. So then answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether other countries had completed or not, then answer is not given, okay? Now let's go back. We look for other countries and all that, metropolitan line. Scan metropolitan line. Second page, second paragraph. The metropolitan line which opened on 10th January 1863 was the world's first underground railway. That's it. First world's underground railway. What does it mean? Other countries had built underground? No, it was the first one. So it means other countries built it after them. So the answer is false. Well done. Got the point? Now listen carefully. Whenever they use the word before or after, you have to see if they say the word, it was world's first. World's first means nobody had done that before, okay? Like this. And these are, what do you say? These are the tools of IELTS paper setters. They know in true, false, not given, one tool is to use before, after. They know one tool is to use all, minority, majority and all that. So they have some tools like that. Once you solve 8 to 10 tests, you understand their tools and then you can do it better. Question number 8, more people than predicted traveled on the metropolitan line on the first day. Look at me. They expected 10,000 people, but 50,000 people traveled on the first day. So if more people than expected traveled, answer is true. If less people than expected traveled, answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether more people traveled or less, answer is, and you should know, for every question you should know if this, answer is true, if that, answer is false, if not this or that, then answer is not given, okay? Now please come back, same paragraph. On the first day, that was your clue word. On the first day, almost 40,000 passengers were carried between Paddington and Farringdon, the journey taking about 18 minutes. By the end of the Metropolitan's first year of operation, 9.5 million journeys. Answer is not given. Now you can argue 40,000 people, it's a great number, but they did not mention that the number they expected whether more people traveled or less people traveled. They only mentioned 40,000 people traveled, more or less than expected. There is no information on that. That is why the answer is not given. Okay. All right, let's go on. Question number 9. Use of ventilation shafts. Now, ventilation shaft is your clue word. If you travel, have you ever traveled to any tunnel? There is a fan. In Pakistan also we have some tunnels. Like if you go to this Gilgit-Baltistan, there are some tunnels. Even on Swat motorway, they have some tunnels. So there is a fan. That is called ventilator shaft. Ventilation shaft. Now, use of ventilation shaft failed to prevent pollution in the tunnel. Now look, if the use of ventilation shaft failed to prevent pollution, answer is true. If it was successful, then answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether it failed or passed, then answer is not given. Okay, now we go back. Ventilation shaft. Third, last paragraph, last line. However, smoke and fumes remained a problem. What does it mean? Ventilation shaft failed. However, smoke and fumes remained a problem even though ventilation shafts were added to the tunnel. So when pollution was the problem, it means ventilation shafts, they failed. Right answer is true. That's right. Okay, question number 10. A different approach from the cut and cover. Cut and cover is in inverted commas, and this is your clue word. A different approach from cut and cover technique was required in London's central area. Now listen, if you don't know what cut and cover is, don't worry. Cut and cover is a technique. Take it as a technique. In reading and listening, it is not necessary to understand everything, right? This is a different approach from cut and cover technique was required in London's central area. So if they required different approach than cut and cover, answer is true. If they required the same approach, cut and cover, answer is false. And if they don't tell us which approach, then answer is not given. Okay. So please, second last paragraph. There you will find last line. Second last paragraph, second last line. The cut and cover method of construction was not an option in this part of the capital. Not an option. The only alternative was to tunnel deep underground. So cut and cover was the option? No, it was not the option. What is the question? A different approach from cut and cover technique was required. Yes, absolutely. Because cut and cover was not the option. So the answer is well done. Very good. If you do not understand everything, I advise you to underline the sentence which is related to the question, write their question number so that when you go back home, you can practice, right? Question number 11, windows on City and South London trains were at eye level. Look at me. When window is at eye level, you see there is the window, right? So the windows, if they were at eye level, answer is true. If they were above eye level, or below eye level, then answer is false. And if they don't tell us the level of windows, then it is not given. So clue word is window. Last paragraph, look for the word windows in the middle. The carriages were narrow and had tiny windows. Found it? Okay, now please read from here. Everyone found that? Last paragraph in the middle. The carriages were narrow and had tiny windows just below the roof. Below the roof. So were they at eye level? No, they were just below the roof. For example, we are sitting here and the windows are all up there. Down there, there is no window. Okay, so were they at eye level? No, eye level means like you sit in the bus or train, seats are at eye level, but they were just below the roof. Below the roof. Now you cannot say ji chhat sar se lag rahi hogi. So if below the roof and then like that, so you know the roof is at least 8 feet or 10 feet high. So if below the roof, it is not eye level, right? Now you cannot even argue ke khade hoke to nazar aa sakta hai. Not like this, okay? So what is the answer? False, because windows were at roof level. They were not at eye level. That is why answer is false. Okay, let's go on. Question number, which question number? 12? Okay. City and South London Railway was a financial success. Financial success means it made a lot of profit. It earned a lot of money and all that. Clue word is City and South London Railway. Yes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth last line. Although the city, fifth last line after full stop. Found it? Although the City and South London Railway was a great technical achievement, it did not make a profit. So was it financial success? No. And those who do not understand, they will say, great technical achievement, good, true. Right? It's not about technical achievement, it's about financial success. For that they say, did not make a profit. So answer is false. Question number 13, trains on the Tuppenny tube, right? If the words which are hard to read for you, don't worry because you are reading it in your heart. Okay, so you can read as you want to, Tuppenny tube. Tuppenny, okay. Trains on the Tuppenny tube nearly always ran on time. Now listen, nearly always ran on time. If they nearly always ran on time, answer is true. If they were late, answer is false. And if they don't tell us about time, answer is not given. Well done. Last 3 lines, please. Tuppenny tube is there. Follow me? Okay, then in 1900, the Central London Railway, known as the Tuppenny Tube, began operation using new electric locomotives. It was very popular, and soon afterwards, new railways and extensions were added to the growing tube network. By 1907, the heart of today's underground system was in place. Exactly. They did not mention anything about the time. Understand? This test is very good. You need to repeat all these questions, okay? Thank you. Okay guys, now we move ahead with another passage, and the title is Stadiums, Past, Present and Future. Which stadium is that? Football stadium, cricket stadium, hockey stadium, past of stadium, present of stadium and future of stadium. So all the passage is about stadiums, and when the passage is labeled A, B, C, D, bad news. What is bad news? They will be type B questions. Type B questions only come when the passage is labeled. The first passage was not labeled. So there are no type B. Type B means questions and answers are not in order. They are in random order. You have to scan all the passage for each question. Now we come to questions. Yes, the same thing. Questions 14 to 17. Reading passage 2 has 7 sections. Now let me tell you what is a section. One section may contain 2 paragraphs. For example, section A. Tell me how many paragraphs? Section A, 3 paragraphs. Section B? Section C? 1. Section D? 1 or 2, yeah. Section E? And section F? 2. And section G? 1. So this is a section, okay? Now don't just see paragraph only and you don't read the next paragraph. They use the word section. Okay, the best approach is that you read these 4 questions, and if by chance you come across the answer, you can do that. Otherwise, keep the questions in mind and we can do these 4 questions in the end. And by the way, if you start your reading from these 4 questions have the ability to spoil your reading test. For each question, you will go to the passage from A to Z. Then for second question, A to Z. Then for third question, A to Z. So the best approach is read the questions first, do them last. But if on the way you find any answer, you can just do that, right? Let's read the questions carefully. 14 to 17. Mention of negative attitudes. Underline negative attitudes towards stadium building projects. Now, negative attitude. For example, people did not like it. People opposed it. People were not happy about it. Okay, they destroyed the stadiums. Something like that. Negative attitude. Question number 15. Figures demonstrating the environmental benefits. Very simple. Underline the word figures. And then you can find a paragraph with numbers. Figures demonstrating the environmental benefits of certain stadiums. Environmental benefits. For example, in some stadiums they have trees and the trees are producing oxygen, and then they will give you the numbers. Figure means number. Okay. Next, question number 16. Examples of wide range of facilities available. Underline example, wide range of facilities available at new stadiums. Now look here. Whenever they use the word wide range of facilities, say in the stadium, you can have musical concerts. In the stadium, you can have exhibitions. In the stadiums, I mean other facility, other than playing games, what are the other things which you can do? Question number 7, reference to disadvantages. Underline the word disadvantages of the stadiums built during a certain era. Now underline the word certain era. Certain era means in 1800s or in 1945, from 1950 onwards, they built the stadiums, and the disadvantages of stadiums which were built. So you will look for the year or the time period and disadvantages. So this is how you need to read and understand the questions. Now you can see questions 18 to 22, summary completion. And then questions 23 to 26, double multiple choice questions. Where should we start from? Summary completion. Well done. You can just answer these 5 questions without any problem, and then after that you can move wherever you want to go. By the way, double multiple choice questions are also type A. Type A means questions and answers are in order. When they have double multiple choice questions, usually both options are found in one paragraph. Otherwise, one option in one paragraph, one option in next paragraph. Okay. So, Roman amphitheaters, that is the title. I'm doing questions 18 to 22. Roman amphitheaters. Roman stadiums of Europe have proved very versatile. Amphitheater of Arles, for example. Now look for amphitheater of Arles. Go back. Look for amphitheater of Arles. Yes, it's B, section B, third paragraph. Fourth paragraph rather. Section B, first paragraph. Okay, I use the word section B, first paragraph. Can you see the word amphitheater of Arles? Now answer is here. This is called location of the answer. Now we read the question carefully. Please come back to question number 18. Amphitheater of Arles, for example, was converted first into a dash, then into a residential area, and finally into an arena where spectators could watch. So converted into what? Please come back. I'm reading it from second line after full stop. Paragraph B, first paragraph, second line after full stop. Built by Romans in 19 AD, it became fortress with 4 towers after the 5th century and was then transformed into a village. Village means place for people to live. So before that, what was it? Fortress, exactly. So what is the answer? Converted first into a fortress, then a residential area. What is the word for residential area? Village, exactly. Village means residential area. So correct answer for question number 18 is? Huh? Sure? Alright, yes, then keep an eye on everybody that they are involved or not. Fortress is the right answer, okay? Okay, let's go on then into a residential area and finally into an arena where spectators could watch what? They could watch something, game or sport. Same paragraph. Let's read on after fortress. Yes, that's right. Please follow me. Section B, first paragraph. Can you see the word 200 houses? Okay, I'm reading after 200 houses. With the growing interest in conservation during the 19th century, it was converted back into an arena for the staging of bullfights. Staging of bullfights mean people could watch bullfights, and you will write bullfights as it is. If you write a space between bull fights, that answer will be wrong. Okay? So correct answer is bullfights, thereby returning the structure to its original use as a venue for public spectacles. Okay, so we found 2 answers. Then, meanwhile, the arena in Verona. Now, Verona is our clue word, and answers are in order. One of the oldest Roman amphitheaters is famous today as a venue where dash is performed. Now, let's go back. As a venue where dash is performed. I'm reading section B, second paragraph. Another example, found it? Okay. Another example is the imposing area of Verona in northern Italy with space of 30,000 spectators, which was built 60 years ago, the Arles Amphitheater, and 40 years before Rome's famous Colosseum. It has endured the centuries and is currently considered one of the world's prime site for opera. One of the world's prime site for opera. So what does it mean? It means today as a venue where opera is performed. Prime site for opera, where opera is performed. So correct answer is opera. You know opera? One fat lady shouting, woo, like that. So that, yeah, Yasin, you once watched opera, yeah? He's an opera singer also. Especially when he fights with his wife, he becomes an opera singer. Okay, so let's go on. Question number 21, sorry. The site of Lucas, actually if you read it in properly, it is offensive word in Urdu. Yeah. It's Italian, so we cannot say that here. Yeah, Lucha. The site of Lucas Amphitheater has also been used for many purposes over the centuries. Now, it was used for many purposes over centuries, including the storage of dash. They stored something there. Now, let's go back. We look for Luca. Okay? So, Luca Amphitheater and storage of something. Yes, section C, there you will find the word Luca. Please come to third line. Section C, third line after full stop. The site evolved in a similar way to ours and was progressively filled with buildings from the Middle Ages until the 19th century, variously used as houses, a salt depot, and a prison. Now what is the answer? Salt depot. You know what is the meaning of depot? Depot is what we call depot. In Urdu, yeah, we say depot. Ajmal book depot and Lala book depot. So it's the word depot. Okay, depot is a place where something is stored. Depot. So what is stored there? Salt. So correct answer is storage of salt. Now storage and depot, they are synonyms. Okay, it is now a market square with dash and homes. It is now a market square with dash and homes. Two things. One is homes and second we will find market square. Please come to same paragraph. Paragraph C, second last line. Today, they mentioned that. Today, the ruins of the amphitheater remain embedded in the various shops and residences. What is the answer? Why not residences? Yes, for that they use the word homes. So that is why answer is shops. Okay. Now, let's go on. Questions 23 and 24. We do that. 23 and 24. Write the correct letters in boxes 23 and 24 on your answer sheet. When comparing 20th century stadium to ancient amphitheaters in section D, they have told us. In section D, there is the comparison. Let's read the question first. You don't know the question and you're going to read the passage. It will not help you, okay? Comparing 20th century stadiums to ancient amphitheaters in section D, which two negative features does the writer mention? Now we go back. Two negative features does the writer mention? Okay, we are going to look for two negative features. All right. Please come to paragraph D for doctor. 20th century is there. Found it? Paragraph D for doctor, 20th century is there. And now please turn the page over and we read the first paragraph. And we are going to look for two negative features. Many such stadiums are situated in suburban areas designed for sporting use only. Now look at me, two negative features. One is they are in suburban areas, means they are not in the city. Second is designed for sporting use only. That is also negative feature. I mean, for example, we have Gaddafi Stadium. They hardly ever use that stadium once a year, otherwise it's all empty. Okay, so two negative features, that is suburban areas designed for sporting use only and surrounded by parking lots. All around the stadium there are parking lots. Okay, before we answer question number 23-24, Just tell me from question number 14 to 17, do we find any answer? 14 to 17, do we find any answer? Two negative features, negative features. Okay, and they use the word 20th century. 20th century is during a certain era. Yes, that is question number 17. Reference to the disadvantages. What are disadvantages? They are in suburban areas, used for sporting only, surrounded by car parking. Okay, and what about certain era? For certain era, previous paragraph, they use the word 20th century. So question number 17, answer is D, and we cross number 17 from the list. Okay, got the point? This is how you can answer these questions without even reading specially for them. Now, we keep in mind suburban areas, sporting use only, and surrounded by parking lots. Please come to questions 23 and 24 and go through A, B, C, D, E and tell me what is the right answer. One is? Okay, that's right. All right, now the best approach is elimination. What is elimination? Wrong answers should be out. Option A, they are less imaginatively designed. Did they talk about design? No. Option B, less spacious. They did not mention space. They did not say they are narrow, they are small, they are not spacious, they cannot hold more people. They did not say that. Option C, they are in less convenient locations. What is the synonym of that? Suburban areas. You know what is suburb? This is Lahore. The suburban area is like Sheikhupura, Muridke, Kasur. Like for example, there is a stadium in Sheikhupura. We have one stadium there, right? So that is in suburban location, okay? So less convenient location. Option D, they are less versatile. What is the word for less versatile? Listen, look at me. You know, sometimes you say, Muin Akhtar was a versatile actor. Like sometimes he was a policeman, sometimes politician, sometimes businessman. Versatile means they can have more than one function. So they used here the word for sporting use only. So when it is for sporting use only, it means it is not versatile. Versatile means which has got many uses. So second correct answer is option D. And option E, they are made of less durable materials, not mentioned at all. Got it? Now we found the answers there. So we have found 3 answers, by the way. Now we go on to questions 25 and 26. Which 2 advantages of modern stadiums design does the writer mention? Underline 2 advantages, modern stadium design. For this, you need to look for the word modern stadium. Today's stadium. Scan. Today's innovative architects. Yes, that's right. Now you will find both answers here, luckily. Let's read it together. But many of today's most innovative architects see scope of the stadium to help improve the city. Among the current strategies, 2 seem to be having particular success. The stadium as an urban hub. Right? Stadium as an urban hub and a power plant. Maybe in the stadium, if you have solar plates everywhere, so stadium can become a power plant, right? So urban hub and power plant. Now we go back and we see where do they talk about urban hub and power plant. Option A, offering improved amenities for the enjoyment of sports events. They didn't talk about amenities. Amenities are facilities, okay? Option B, bringing community life back into the city environment. Urban hub. Urban hub is a place that brings community life back into the city environment. So B will be the first correct answer as they use the word urban hub. Urban hub means like we say the city center. Urban hub. Option C, facilitating research into solar and wind energy. Listen, they talked about this power plant, but they did not mention how to generate power, solar energy or wind power. So this is just a trap. Be careful. Okay, option D, enabling local residents to reduce their consumption of electricity. Not at all. They did not mention. Okay, option E, providing a suitable site for the installation of renewable power generators. Absolutely. That is option E, a power plant, and for power plant they use the word providing a suitable site for the installation of renewable power generators. Now what are renewable power generators? Solar plates or that wind power. Okay, they are just renewable. Renewable means you don't need any fuel to run them. So correct answer is option B and option E. If you are taking paper delivered IELTS, for 25 you can write B, and for 26 you can write E. Or if you write 25E, 26B, even then it is correct. But I advise you to follow the order, like B, E, so you can write in the same order. Now, what are we left with? Questions 14 to 16, 70 we've done already. A mention of negative attitudes towards stadium building projects. Now go back to section A and B and see if you find any negative attitude of people. Negative attitude. Found any clue? Section A, second paragraph. Absolutely, that's right. Section A, second paragraph, and you can just read all the paragraph. Today, however, stadiums are regarded, negative attitude. Stadiums are regarded with growing skepticism. Skepticism means people take it as something which is useless, right? Construction costs can soar above 1 billion, and stadiums finished for major events such as Olympic Games or the FIFA World Cup have notably fallen into disuse and disrepair. So what is the question? The question is a mention of negative attitude towards the stadium building projects. Building projects, for that they say they cost 1 billion, and negative attitude is growing skepticism. Growing skepticism means negative attitude, right? So question number 14, correct answer is A. Question number 15, figures. Now look for figures. Go to any paragraph where you find figures, numbers. Yes. You have to find figures demonstrating the environmental benefits. So look for figures and environment, carbon dioxide, oxygen, and all that. Carbon dioxide and figures. Carbon dioxide figures. Scan it. Second page. Hurry up. That is second paragraph of F. And we are going to read it from second line after full stop. Section F, second paragraph, second line after full stop. The letter inaugurated in 2009 has 8,844 photovoltaic panels producing up to 1.14 gigawatt of electricity annually. This reduces the annual output of carbon dioxide by 660 tons. Now what is 660 ton? Figure. And what is reducing the amount of carbon dioxide? Environmental benefit. So correct answer for question number 15 is F. So you can cross 15 also from the list. Examples of the wide range of facilities available at some new stadiums. We read it already somewhere. Yeah, probably. Today's stadium, it means it is going to be present. So look for today's stadium. Sorry? E and second paragraph. Well done. Everybody please come to E, section E, second paragraph. There is growing trend for stadiums to be equipped with public spaces and services that serve a function beyond sport, such as hotels, retail outlets, conference centers, restaurants and bars. So whenever they use the word examples of wide range of facilities, for wide range of facilities, you can look for commas. There are 2, 3, 4 commas here and they join the word, so it's just like that. There is a stadium in Faisalabad. Has anybody been to Faisalabad? There is a stadium there, and all around the stadium you can see there are burger bars, cafes, there are shops, and they have converted because matches are played once a year. So otherwise they use it for that. They have restaurants as well. Exactly, that's right. Okay. So this is the thing: retail outlets, conference centers, restaurants and bars. Right? So question number 16 answer is E, and 17 we have done already. Okay. Okay, let's go on. Reading passage 3, and the title is To Catch a King. Right? Now we don't know catch a king. Badshah ko pakde. Right? Then we read the subtitle. Anna Key reviews Charles Spencer's book about the hunt for King Charles II during the English Civil War of the 17th century. Now there is a book, Hunt for King Charles II, during the English Civil War. Civil War is when people start fighting. When within the country, people start fighting with each other, that is called civil war. Okay. So Anna Key reviews Charles Spencer's book. Now the title of the book is To Catch a King, and this book is about the hunt for King Charles. Like they wanted to kill King Charles and they were looking for him, and the king was hiding himself somewhere. So this is the whole passage, and the good thing is passage is not labeled. There is no A, B, C, D. It means all type A questions. Alright, questions 27 to 31. Summary completion with a box. Now what will you do? First you will find a word in the passage, then you will find the synonym of that word in the box, and then you will label it A, B, C, D, E, F. Next 32 to 35, yes, no, not given. And finally 36 to 40, multiple choice question. Okay, so where should we start from? Yes, first summary completion, then yes, no, not given, and finally, I tell you why, what's the reason. I mean, for example, if you run out of time and you don't have time left for multiple choice, you can always guess. So it's a good idea to do yes, no, not given carefully, these summary completion questions carefully, and then you can do that last. Okay, so we will follow the same order. Questions 27 to 31, the story behind the hunt for Charles II. I'm reading questions 27 onwards. Charles II's father was executed by the parliamentarian forces in 1649. Now look for 1649, Charles' father. Okay, go back, 1649, Charles' father. Yes, first paragraph, 6th line. Now this is the location, and you will find all the answers in order now. Now we read the question carefully. Charles II then formed a dash with the Scots. Now look at me. Like his father was killed, and then he formed dash with the Scots. Maybe he formed an association, or we use the word alliance. He formed an alliance with the Scots, and in order to end all that. Now we go back and we see what is it that he formed. They will use the synonym of formed. Formed, made, created, signed, agreed, anything like that. So please come back. Yeah, you need to come to first paragraph, and I'm reading it from after his father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th line after full stop. First paragraph, 5th line after full stop. After his father was executed by the parliamentarians in 1649, the young Charles II sacrificed one of the very principles his father had died for and did a deal with Scots. Right? So what did he do? He did a deal with Scots. Okay? Now deal. He did a deal. Look for synonym of did a deal. He did a deal. Look from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Did a deal. What is the synonym of that? Yes, that's right. It is not H, it is H. English, you know. Yeah. A, B, C. Kithe gayi C? Right? So, correct answer is A. Did a deal means strategic alliance. So, correct answer for question number 27 is H. And you can cross H also, because one option will be used once only. Now we read on. And I'm reading on from question number 27. With the Scots, and in order to become king of Scots, he abandoned an important dash. Abandoned means he left. Chhod dena. He abandoned an important dash. Same paragraph. I'm reading on. After did a deal with Scots. Found it? Okay. Did a deal with the Scots, thereby accepting Presbyterianism as the national religion in return for being crowned king of Scots. So in order to become the king of Scots, what did he do? He accepted Presbyterianism, and they have put a star here. Now let's see what is Presbyterianism. That is part of the Reformed Protestant religion. It means he changed his religion. He converted to another religious group. Okay, Presbyterianism. Now let's go back. So yeah, accepting Presbyterianism. Which option is that? Like he changed his religion. That is option J. Well done. Religious conviction. And have you noticed one thing? Presbyterianism, that word is quite unusual. And they have written a star and then they mention the meaning. And this will happen in actual exam also. Not all the time. Not for every word you say star to hai nahi hai. I don't know the word. So it's only if there are the words which are really out of box or which are not easy, which are not commonly used words, there they do this. Okay. So 2 questions we answered. Let's go on. After 28, I'm reading on. Presbyterianism that was held by his father and had contributed to his father's death. Okay. The opposing sides then met outside Worcester in 1651. Now that is your clue word. Worcester, 1651. The battle led to a dash. Battle led to something. Right? I mean, the battle caused something and it led to something. So let's go back and we look for this 1651. Found it? Okay. Now we are going to see battle led to what? This is what we are going to find. So I'm reading this paragraph from, can you see the word? His arrival in Edinburgh prompted. Okay, I'm reading from here. Otherwise, you will not understand. His arrival in Edinburgh. Actually, this word is Edinburgh. People read it as Edinburgh. It's not Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh. Edinburgh, Scottish English. I had a Scottish student once. She used to learn Urdu from me. So she told me this. It's not Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Scottish English is very tough. Difficult to understand. Okay. His arrival in Edinburgh prompted the English Parliamentary Army to invade Scotland in a preemptive strike. This was followed by a Scottish invasion of England. Now, this was followed by a Scottish invasion in England. The 2 sides finally faced one another at Worcester in the west of England in 1651. After being comprehensively defeated on the meadows outside the city by the Parliamentarian army, the 21-year-old king found himself the subject of a national manhunt with a huge sum. Let's come back. The battle led to, okay, what was the result of the battle? Defeat, exactly. The battle led to defeat. So please read again, come back. They mentioned here in which in preemptive strike, this was followed by a Scottish invasion of England. The 2 sides finally faced one another at this after being comprehensively defeated. So what happened after the war? They were defeated. Now let's find something that is for comprehensively defeated. Okay, listen. When one party is going to get the defeat, other party is going to win. Now you need to read the question. Okay, the battle led to a dash for the parliamentarians. Who was defeated? Charles was defeated, and parliamentarians, they got Victory. You need to understand that, okay? So what will be the answer? Paragraph F, decisive victory, because Charles was defeated completely. So when one party was defeated, other party got victory, okay? So correct answer is F, and you're going to cross that also. And Charles had to flee. Flee means to run away, okay? Charles had to flee for his life. A dash was offered for Charles' capture. You know, we offer prize or money or anything. A dash was offered for Charles' capture. Now come back. I'm reading it from 21-year-old king. Same paragraph, look for 21-year-old king. Found it? Okay. 21-year-old king found himself the subject of a national manhunt with a huge sum offered for his capture. So what was there? Huge sum. Now let's see what is the word for huge sum. Yes, that's right. Huge sum, and the synonym is large reward. Like Americans, they had this huge sum on Osama bin Laden's capture. So the word is large reward. So correct answer for question number 30 is B. And you will cross B as well from the list. Okay, let's go on. Last question, 31. Charles' capture, but after 6 weeks spent in hiding, he eventually managed to reach the dash of continental Europe. Now a place, a location in continental Europe where he reached after 6 weeks. So go back, same paragraph. After 6 weeks, he managed to reach, right? I'm reading it from 6 weeks. Have you found it? Yes. Please follow me. Over the following 6 weeks, he managed through a series of heart-poundingly close escapes to evade the parliamentarian before seeking refuge in France, right? And then they say for the next 9 years and all that. So seeking refuge in France. And what is the question? The question is he eventually managed to reach the dash of continental Europe. Now, by the way, what is France? Where is France? Europe. Okay, so that is in continental Europe. So for continental Europe, they use the word France. And what is the answer? Yeah, he was seeking refuge. Now, seeking refuge. What is the synonym of seeking refuge? That is option D. Relative safety. Relative safety and seeking refuge. Okay? Let's pray one day the politicians of our country will seek refuge in a foreign country. Yeah? Ameen, summa ameen. Okay. All right. All clear? This one is clear? Now we go on. Question number 32 to 35. Yes, no, not given. The common mistake the students do in yes, no, they write true, false. So be very careful. If you write true, false, your answers will be wrong 200%. Keep that in mind, okay? The method is same as we did true, false, not given. We do yes, no, not given. Questions and answers are in order. Now, question number 32. Charles chose Pepys. Now, Peppy is clue word. Charles chose Peppy. Peppy is with capital P. It's the name. Charles chose Peppy for the task because he considered him. He means Charles. Him means Peppy. Okay, not Papi. Peppy. Okay, yeah. Charles chose Peppy for the task because he considered him to be trustworthy. Now, if Peppy was trustworthy for Charles, answer is yes. If he chose him for another reason, not trustworthy, another reason, because he was active or he was something like that, he was popular, not trustworthy, then answer is false. And if they don't tell us the reason, like what he considered him, then answer is not given. Now let's look for Charles and Peppy. First, title page, second column. Okay, title page of the passage, second column. Can you see the word Samuel Peppy? Now I'm reading from here. With the writer and diarist Samuel Peppy, his intention when asking Peppy to commit his story to paper was to ensure that this most extraordinary episode was never forgotten Over 2-3 hours sitting, the king related to him in great detail his personal recollections of the 6 weeks he had spent as a fugitive. As the king and secretary settled down, seen, not given. They did not mention that he chose him because he was trustworthy or any other quality. Okay, so correct answer for 32 is not given. Why not given? He considered him to be trustworthy. There is no mention. And they did not mention that he considered him to be something else other than trustworthy. Question number 33. Charles' personal recollection of the escape lacked sufficient detail. Now underline the word lacked sufficient detail. And look here. If there is a lot of detail, answer is false. If there is little detail, no detail, or he did not express the details, then answer is yes. If there is no detail, then answer is yes. And if they don't mention whether it lacked detail or it did not lack detail, then answer is not given. Now we go back. Same paragraph. I'm reading it from, can you see over 2-3 hours? Please follow me now. Second column, first paragraph. Over 2-3 hours sitting, the king related to him in great detail. The king related to him in great detail his personal recollections. Great detail. What is the question? Lacked sufficient detail. No, not false. Okay, yeah. It's yes, no, not given. I told you it's a very, very common mistake. So answer is no. Charles indicated to Pepys that he had planned his escape before the battle. Now, understand the point. Once again, we have before after. If you remember in part 1, we solved one question with before after. Now, if he had planned his escape before the war, before the battle, answer is true. If he planned his escape after the battle, answer is no. And if they don't tell us before or after, then answer is not given. So please come back. Same paragraph, fourth last line. After the battle, and I'm reading it from Charles commended his story. Found it? Same paragraph, fourth last line. Charles commenced his story. After the battle was so absolutely lost as to be beyond hope of recovery, I began to think of the best way of saving myself. So he did it after losing the battle, not before that. What is the question? Charles indicated to Pepys that he had planned his escape before the battle? No. After losing the battle. So answer is no. Question number 35. Inclusion of Charles's account is a positive aspect of the book. Now, account means story. So they included Charles's story. Is it positive aspect of the book? Answer is yes. If it is negative aspect of the book, answer is no. And if they don't tell us positive or negative, then answer is not given. Okay. Now you will have to jump. Look for the word Charles's account in the book. Charles's account in the book. Yeah, Charles' own narrative. Okay. Please come to second page. Second page, second column, right side column. First paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth last line after full stop. Indeed, the opening. Found it? Indeed, the opening third of the book. Found it? Everyone? Yeah? Okay, now let's read from here. Indeed, the opening third of the book, now we have the book, is about how Charles II found himself at Worcester in the first place, which for some will be reason alone to read to catch a king. Now that story will be the reason for some people to read the book. Now tell me, is it positive or negative? It is positive because that is the reason people will buy the book and they will read the book. So that is something positive. Inclusion of Charles' account is a positive aspect. Now what is the word for positive effect? Will be reason alone to read to catch a king. Will be reason alone means because of that reason people will read that book. Okay, so question number 35, answer is yes. Now we do the last questions here. If you're running out of time, 1 minute left, and you're doing multiple choice, just write all B's or all C's, but don't do it tomorrow with us. Yeah, he's looking at me. Once I told this thing that in true, false, not given, if you don't understand, write all true or write all false, at least your 2 to 3 answers will be correct. Next day we had the mock test. Everybody wrote all true and all false. So that's why he's looking at me like this. So don't do it now, but in actual exam, if you are rushing and time is just 2 minutes left, true, false, not given is left, write all true. Out of 5, 2 answers will be correct. Okay, write all false. Out of 5, 2 answers will be correct, but the frequency of not given is less. But if you write first true, second false, third false, no, then your answers will not be correct. All true or all false, out of 6 at least 2 or 3 answers will be right. Okay, but don't do it otherwise. Okay, you say, sir has given me a hack. This is not a hack. This is only in case of emergency. Like, you have to open a small parachute. When your big parachute is not working, then this is the small parachute. Okay, now we do multiple choice questions, and the best strategy to deal with multiple choice questions is elimination. Eliminate the wrong option. First thing is you read the question and you find the location in the passage where there is the answer. Then you find the answer to that question, and after that you will match that answer which you found in the passage with options A, B, C, D, and eliminate wrong options. In the first go, try to eliminate at least 2 wrong options, and then you will have 50-50, so you can just do it. Question number 36, what is the reviewer's main purpose in the first paragraph? They are so dayalu, they have told us first paragraph. Now let's go on. Reviewer is the writer who has written this review. What is the main purpose of the reviewer? So we go to first paragraph. Question is, what is the reviewer's main purpose in first paragraph? So we read first paragraph already. Let's just go through it quickly, and it's a long paragraph, yeah? Okay, so let's start from the beginning, right? We're just going to go through that. Charles Spencer's latest book, To Catch a King, tells us the story of the hunt for King Charles II in the 6 weeks after his resounding defeat at the Battle of Worcester in September 1651, and what a story it is after his father was executed and all these things we read already, okay? And he changed his religion and all that, okay? Now let's go back and we see if we could find, because we've read it already. He changed his religion and then he decided to escape after 6 weeks and all that. So what is the reviewer's main purpose in the first paragraph? Option A, to describe what happened during the Battle of Worcester. He did not describe. He mentioned Worcester War, but he did not describe in detail what happened. A is gone. Option B, to give an account of the circumstances leading to Charles II's escape. Maybe, because he was defeated, and then they put a sum of money, right? And then he. Option C, provide details of parliamentarians' political views. Not mentioned. Option D, compare Charles II's beliefs with those of his father. No, listen, they did not compare. They only said he broke the principle of his father, but they did not compare the belief of his father, what his father's belief was and what his belief was. So correct answer is option B, to give an account of the circumstances leading to Charles II's escape. And what were those circumstances? He changed his religion, he was defeated in the war, there was sum on him for his capture. These were the circumstances, and that's why he decided to escape. So 36, correct answer is B. 37, why does the reviewer include examples of fugitive behavior in the third paragraph? Now what is the reason? Why does the writer include the examples of fugitive behavior in the third paragraph? Please come to third paragraph. fugitive behavior. Okay, first, second, and third. Right side column, last paragraph. One of the joys of Spencer's book. Found it? Now we read from here. Everybody there? Okay, one of the joys of Spencer's book, a result not least of its use, Charles II's own narrative, as well as those of his supporters, is just how close the readers gets to the action. The day-by-day retelling of the fugitives' doings provides delicious detail and cutting of the king's long hair with agricultural shears, the use of walnut leaves to dye his pale skin, and the day Charles spent lying on a branch of the great oak tree in Boscobel wood and all that. So they are telling all these details. Now let's see what is the question. Why does the reviewer include examples of fugitive behavior? Now what is fugitive behavior? They cut his hair, right? Then they tanned his skin, right? And he spent a night on tree and all that stuff. So why does the reviewer give all these details? Okay, let's just see. The day by day retelling, but what is the reason? Charles II's own narrative as well as those of his supporters, right? And detail, long hair, use of walnut, leaves to dye and all that. Okay. Yeah, just we will go back to them, but let me just see why is he giving all these things. One of the joys of Spencer's book. Yeah, to just add some joy and all that. Now let's see. Okay, so we are going to go on. Option A, explain how close Charles II came to losing his life. Maybe, but not exactly. That is only one example when he was on the tree and they were about to find him and all that. Option B, to suggest that Charles II's supporters were badly prepared. Not at all. Some options will be not at all, some options will be no and all that. Option C, to illustrate how the events of 6 weeks are brought to life. No. Option D, to argue that certain aspects are not as well known as they should be. No. So, correct answer seems to be option C. And I tell you why. C is the right answer. I tell you why. To illustrate how the events of 6 weeks are brought to life. Now, how the events are brought to life. Bring to life means to add some joy. Bring to life. It's an idiomatic phrase. It means to add some joy. Okay. So one of the joys of Spencer's book, when he's telling us day by day retelling of the fugitives doing provide delicious details. Now, what do they mean by delicious detail? Delicious detail means to bring it to life. Okay. 6 week events are brought to life. So, correct answer for that is option C. Okay, now we've got question number 38. What point does the reviewer make about Charles II in the 4th paragraph? Now we go to 4th paragraph. 1, 2, 3 and 4th paragraph is on the next page. So, what point does the reviewer make about Charles II in the 4th paragraph? Okay, now let's see, we come to 4th paragraph. The word Charles is written so many times here. What we are going to do, we are going to come towards the conclusion. Why? Because usually when they come towards the conclusion of the paragraph, there they make their main point. And that is what our question is. What point does the reviewer make about Charles II in the 4th paragraph? So please come to 4th last line. It is hard to imagine. Found it? It is hard to imagine. 2nd page, 1st paragraph, 4th last line. It is hard to imagine. Got it? Okay, now let's read from here. It is hard to imagine many other kings marking the lowest point in their life. What is lowest point? It can be their defeat. Lowest point is when they are removed from power. Lowest point in their life so enthusiastically. Like he was escaping and there was money on his head, right? And he was so enthusiastic about it, or indeed pulling off such an escape in the first place. Now let's see, just keep the word enthusiastically. He had the lowest time. All right. Question number 38. So option A, he chose to celebrate what was essentially a defeat. Huh? Okay. Option B, he misunderstood the motives of his opponents. No. Option C, he aimed to restore people's faith in monarchy. No. Option D, he was driven by a desire to be popular. Not at all. Correct answer is A. He chose to celebrate what was essentially a defeat. Come back. It is hard to imagine many other kings marking the lowest point. Lowest point means defeat, right? Essentially a defeat in their life so enthusiastically. And for enthusiastically, they use the word celebrate. Exactly. So correct answer is A for that. Question number 39. What does reviewers say about Charles Spencer in the 5th paragraph? Now we go to 5th paragraph. What does reviewers say about Charles Spencer in the 5th paragraph? Okay, 5th paragraph is actually the second last paragraph. So second last paragraph, I'm going to read it from the beginning. Charles Spencer, found it? Okay, Charles Spencer is the perfect person to pass the story on to a new generation. His spacey, readable prose steers deftly clear of modern idioms and elegantly brings to life the details of the great tale. He has even-handed sympathy for both the fugitive king and the fierce republican regime that hunted him. Now what did he do? He did justice. Like he has even-handed sympathy for both. Like when you are writing a story and there are two opponents and you show sympathy to both of them, right? So what did he do? He has even-handed sympathy for both the fugitive king and the fierce republican regime that hunted him, and he succeeds in his desire to explore far more of the background of the story than previous books. So he took both sides. He did not say king was right or the people were wrong or people were right and king was wrong and all that. Now please come back. What does the reviewer say about Charles Spencer in 5th paragraph? Option A, his decision to write the book comes as a surprise. No. Option B, he takes an unbiased approach to the subject matter. Unbiased approach means he was not taking the side of the king or the people who wanted to kill him. So he had sympathies for both. So when you have sympathies for both, you are unbiased. That's right. B will be the right answer. Let's read C and D also. C, his descriptions of events would be better if they include more detail. No. Option D, he chooses language that is suitable for 21st century audience. Not mentioned. Question number 40. When the reviewer says the book doesn't quite hit the mark, she is making the point that. Now what is the point that Anna is making when she says the book doesn't quite hit the mark? So please come to last paragraph. Book doesn't quite hit the mark. Okay, I'm reading the last paragraph. Tantalizing question left in the end is that of what it all meant. Would Charles II have been a different king had these 6 weeks never happened? The days and nights spent in hiding must have affected him in some way. Did the need to assume disguise to survive on wit and charm alone, to use trickery and subterfuge to escape from tight corners help from him? This is one area where the book doesn't quite hit the mark. Means these details, like if these weeks did not come in his life, the king would be a different person. Because of all these things, she says the book doesn't quite hit the mark, means things are incomplete in the book, right? Now let's go back. Option A, It overlooks the impact of events on ordinary people. Not at all. They did not mention anything about ordinary people. Option B, it lacks an analysis of prevalent views of monarchy. Never. They did not mention. Now we've got two options. It omits any references to the deceit practiced by Charles II during his time in hiding. No, they say it omits any references to the deceit practiced by Charles II. They mentioned everything. He looked, his body was tanned, his hair was cut, and all that. Option D, it fails to address whether Charles II's experience had a lasting influence on him. This is the right answer. Now, what is the word lasting influence for him? If you come back, the tantalizing question left, I'm reading from the book, from the first paragraph, in the end is that of what it all meant. Would Charles II have been a different king had these 6 weeks never happened? The days and nights spent in hiding must have affected him in some way and all that. So this is, it fails to address whether Charles II experience had a lasting influence on him or not. Like, has been through all these things. So did it have any lasting influence? Lasting influence means it continues with you all through your life. Now see, there's one journalist, before being arrested, he was without beard, and then he was arrested, and he was there for some time, and then he came out, he had long beard, and now those effects continue with him. So this is what they say, it fails to address whether Charles II's experience had a lasting influence on him. They did not mention whether this 6 weeks time had any influence on him in the later life or not.